This we will be talking about how to optimize our Power Pivot formulas, tips, and suggestions of how you can pinpoint these. They are not easy to discover, I must let you know up front. But there are a few lists of bullet points that we can help you with. They are very easy to follow, and a lot of them actually just make sense. First, utilize views to import your data in Power Pivot. This probably doesn't make much sense, but when you start looking at backend products, a lot of them do offer views. Leverage that instead of going directly to the table or anything else. That has proved to provide some performance and improvements in there. Also, make your column names as mnemonic as possible. We've been mentioning it throughout the entire course. The more mnemonic they are, the easier they are to identify and pinpoint if you ever run into problems with them. Also, import only columns when needed. While in the demos we haven't really done any of that, it is very important for you to do it because a lot of the times it will determine the size of workbook, and with the size also the amount of data that will be processed. While not easily remembered, it is something that is good to make a habit whenever you're importing your data into the data model. This one is a little bit off the path, but makes sense once you start looking at how things are stored in your databases. You bring into a data model, so separating them in two columns would help greatly. And that's where you can do that without having to affect your table itself by doing that into a view and requesting that from your DB team inside the company. Reduce the number of rows to import to. If it's a tremendous amount, although the engine itself is quite efficient, if you're having problems, this helps you narrow down sometimes where the problem might be. This one is also making sense. Calculated fields instead of calculated columns when possible. And this also you have to weigh which one good versus bad. Most of the time, calculated fields will be used for values, while calculated columns will be used for text and other means that are not really easily available within calculated fields. So weigh this in there. Sometimes you can easily do that transition, and that can help you speed up the process and optimize your workbooks themselves. Last but not least, sort your data to be imported. This is something that has been seen to cause tremendous performance improvements. While simple and not even on your side, once again, it can be sorted on your view. That's where the view and the sorting comes into hand. Identifying the possible culprits. So far, these are the two common ones, filter and SumX. Why? Think about the row context that we were discussing before, filters and SumX. Since they can be nested, if you have multiple filters within filters and SumX's as well, guess what? It can start taking a toll. And the more data you have adds up easily. So, not saying you shouldn't use them, but whenever you're going to be using them heavily and recursively or nested, then you have to start thinking a little bit about it and testing your workbook to see if performance improves. And below is a list of steps that you can use for trial and error process. First and foremost, backup. Always backup. Create as many copies as you can and that you might need. Test the new formulas. Leave the old ones as they were, untouched. Test new ones, see if there's any improvement. And then, since you have backups and you are sure that you can make deletions, try testing and removing the old ones. Keep those backups until absolutely positive that everything is working as you expected.